Hey, I'm Eric. I'm listening to 100 albums in 100 days. For all the details on what I'm doing and why, check out the video pinned in my profile. Today I listened to the 1975 album Born to Run from Bruce Springsteen. Now, I've never been a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. I have about, half a dozen or so songs of Bruce's that I like. But I've never been like a huge follower or fan. I've never even heard a full album all the way through. Even Born in the USA, like the 80s child that I am, I don't think I even heard that full album all the way through. However, during the pandemic, during the lockdown, Bruce and his wife did a show pretty much weekly on XM called From Our House to Yours. And it was basically just Bruce talking and playing music. He was just playing DJ, and he would play all usually there was a theme for the show, and he would play songs around that theme and talk about just the times and the music. And to be quite honest with you, it was a very soothing show to listen to. And I became a fan of Bruce Springsteen, the guy, not necessarily a fan of the music, because still at that point I still had not heard anything from him other than the songs that I liked. The show is phenomenal. I love the show, and it was really one of the things that I listened to on a regular basis during lockdown, during the pandemic. So I became a fan of him at that point. So I didn't really know what to expect from this album. I didn't know what to expect from Bruce Springsteen in general. All that I'd really heard from him was from the 80s on. So I had no idea what to expect from this album. I was pleasantly surprised. This album is fantastic. If you had asked me after the first listen through of the entire album, I would have said there was only one song I didn't like, and that would have been "Meeting Across the River." But I listened to the song a couple more times, and now it's probably my favorite song on the album. Isn't that weird? I like the two that everybody probably knows is "Born to Run" and "Thunder Road." Those are great songs. The whole album is great. "Meeting Across the River" is just kind of a sad song, and I found out while I was listening to it, there's an entire book of short stories based on this song, and it kind of makes me want to go get it and read it. I think I will. That sounds fascinating. "Jungle Land," the very last song on the album, is also a sad song. I like it for two. Basically, I like that song for one thing, and that's the epic saxophone solo in the middle from Clarence Clemons. His solo in the middle of that song is just is fabulous. And I like how it just kind of ends. The song just kind of ends. The story comes to an end. It's not a happy ending, and the song just pounds out and ends. But yeah, the entire album was just phenomenal. I like every song now after listening to "Meeting Across the River" several times. So I'm not saying I'm a Bruce Springsteen music fan now, but this album is really good. I will probably try to listen to a couple of other his albums pre Born in the USA. From what I read, this is his first big push to be commercially accessible and commercially successful. And it's kind of one of the top albums of all time. One of the few, like in the upper echelon of the top albums of all time. So yeah, I have not a bad thing to say about it, and it's worth a listen. He's such a different guy when he sings and when he tells the stories. It's almost like he doesn't have he doesn't really care what he sounds like. He just sings. And if it's out of tune, if it's if it's a little off, it doesn't really matter, because to him the important thing is the story of the song. It's what it seems like, and I love that. I think that's so. I don't know, like for lack of a better word, brave, and so just being about your music. And every song, I've realized as I listen to it more that the last three songs kind of tell a story, going from one to the next to the next, and it's kind of a sad story. And I was just so drawn to that's what made me listen to that Meeting Across the River again multiple times, because I like the two songs that bookend it, but I was like, well, then why don't I like the middle one? And so I listened to it more, and once I did, I really fell in love with it. So this is a great listen. If you're a Springsteen fan, I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with me. But if you're a Springsteen fan, give me another suggestion for an album to listen to pre Born in the USA. If you've never heard this album, listen to it. Out of this whole project, I said last week that Songs in the Key of Life was an album that needs to be listened to, that just needs to be listened to. And this is another one like that. Those two albums, that one and this one, are probably the top albums I've listened to in this whole project. So if you've never listened to it, give it a listen. It's worth it. And let me know what you think.